First of all, congratulations on being proved correct, and that there are literally mammoth bones, bison bones, all kinds of bones in the East River.
Yes, sir.
You said it on this podcast. Dirty Water Dan went out and looked for them. They found bones. They found multiple bones. It's real.
It's very real.
So the museum dumped bones that belong to your property
Yep.
out there in the East River, and they're still out there for people to find. How many pounds were dumped?
50,
Roughly?
50 tons.
50 tons.
50.
50 tons.
And that was told to me by one of the guys that wrote that report that I read on your show.
Good Lord, that's a lot. I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah. Boxcar.
And they found how many bones so far?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think Dirty Water Don and those guys found 3 so far.
Did I say Dan? Sorry.
It's either Dan or Don.
Don. I think is it Dirty Water Dan or Dirty Water Don? It's Don. Dirty Water Don.
That's right.
That's a risky thing. The guy's diving in the East River.
Yeah.
That guy's.
Yeah. There's more guys out there, too.
How many guys are out there right now?
Don't know how many, but I know there's others out there that are making finds.
This is one piece, and this is a jawbone, correct?
Yes, sir.
Of a steppe bison.
I believe so. I have never seen it. But I know that was one of the first things he found. He found some mammoth ivory.
Yeah, and he found another bone, right?
Yes, sir. Looks like a leg bone.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
So this is his Instagram is Dirty Water Dawn on Instagram, and that's another bone that they found right there.
Yes, sir.
And so they know roughly the location, and it's kind of amazing that this stuff was dumped in, was it the 30s? When was this dumped?
In the 40s.
The 40s.
Yes, sir.
So to this day, this is the first time that people have actually gone looking for things, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
it's been a dirty little secret for decades.
Well, proven true now.
Yeah, it sure has been.
The museum still continues to deny it, though, correct?
They won't talk to me.
Why won't they talk to you?
Well, and when Drew and Elora and I and my wife went to New York a few years ago, they were supposed to meet with us, and they decided to have us stand out in the rain for 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't meet with you?
No.
So you went all the way to New York to meet with them?
Well, I went there to the Explorers Club to show the documentary. There was a screening of the documentary on the Boneyard.
And what did they just decide, that you're too problematic?
I think so, yeah.
Well, how are you problematic? I don't understand.
I'm problematic in many, many ways.
I think you're great.
Because I don't think they ever envisioned somebody like me owning this company.
Right. That's probably the problem.
Yeah.
So they left you in the rain, and then nobody has spoken to you since, or what?
They don't talk to me.
What are they afraid of? It's not even them. You got to think, this is all done in the 1940s. Everybody who did it is probably dead.
They just don't want to return the bones.
Oh, so they have more bones.
Oh, yeah, this is just the stuff they threw in the river is not even the good stuff. I don't know if you saw that little video I posted of their collecting techniques where they threw them in a big pile. No idea where they came from. It's on my Instagram.
So they just don't want to address it? So do you have lawyers involved? Like, what's going on so far?
Everybody's encouraged me to litigate this. I've been involved in litigation before, and I have a pretty good track record because I protect my property rights. I don't care if it's real property or intellectual property.
Well, this seems like they're going to have to. I mean, there's just too much pressure now. With the fact that they've actually found real bones in the East River, that there's no other way they could have gotten there. I mean, just how the hell else are you going to find a steppe bison bone in the fucking East River? It's clear that they dumped that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they denied it at first. Check this out.
So it says
12 tons of ivory unearthed in a year.
Wow.
These are the fearsome reminders of a period when cavemen were not the only things girls had to look out for.
Wow.
That was AM.
Money isn't always so easy to find. Gold miners in Alaska loosening up the frozen earth found not gold but the treasures of past ages. A mammoth's tusk 9 feet long was just a part of the 12 tons of ivory unearthed in a year.
Wow.
These are the fearsome reminders of a period when cavemen were not the only things girls had to look out for.
It's hilarious. The way they talked back then was so strange. What a weird way to talk. Like, why they all choose to talk like that?
I don't know.
Very weird. It's like when they first heard themselves recording, I would like to sound a little more fancy.
Anyways, that's their collecting techniques, and they sent everything. They weren't supposed to take all that stuff. They were only supposed to take bones of scientific value, and they were supposed to research every one they took, and they're supposed to, under the agreement I had with them, or my company, do a report annually on everything they took. And it was a tripartite agreement with the University of Alaska, AM&H, and my company, Fairbanks Exploration. And they didn't do any of it. And when I bought the company, I went to the University Museum, and the curator there, I said, I bet you know why I'm here. He goes, I think I do. I said, I want the bones back. He goes, let's go to New York City. Let's go get them. So we all went to New York City to get them. And they gave me a nice tour downstairs of the basement, showed me the tons and tons they had done there. Hundreds and hundreds of mammoth tusks.
Really?
In those the wooden crates and everything else.
And what are they doing with them?
Nothing. They're supposed to do reports and research on them. They haven't done anything in 100 years.
So is it because they don't have the funding to do the work on them, and they just want to store them because they're pack rats? Like, what are they doing?
Well, they don't have the stratigraphic information about where that stuff comes from.
Oh, you have that.
I have all of that.
Yeah.
And one of the authors of that report I read last year was trying to get us together so we could make some sense out of this collection. And like Drew and I were talking earlier, it's like a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. I only got 20 pieces. I want the whole thing on the table, and we'll research all of it. Because the secrets to the extinction event are in those bones.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It is.
Well, let's talk about that, because one of the things that you have found is a layer of carbon, a layer of dark carbon that seems to indicate a mass fire.
Yes.
And that where the animals are, it's so unusual that there are so many bones in this same sort of layer that exist in one place.
Yeah. That
something had to happen for them to all die in that one spot. And this is something that Randall Carlson has pointed out before. They found the other places where, I forget where the other places were. Was it Siberia, where they found massive amounts of mammoths that were all in one area that seemed to have died instantaneously? Some of them with like broken leg bones seemed to have died because of an impact or the force of the impact.
Well, like I told you last time, I think it's all secondary deposition from water. Because there's such a wide spectrum of them and very few mummified remains, although we found some this summer. And I think I told you last year that the oldest sample we took was 22,000 years old. And some people, I have that Ice Age fossil works by little shards of ivory. And I told the one guy, I said, why don't you carbon date it if you want to know the story? So he sent it off to a lab and had it carbon dated, 40,000 years old.
Wow.
So there might be enough in there for 2 dryas events.
Which is probably likely.
Could have.
Yeah. What Randall and Graham Hancock, what they believe, and the Younger Dryas impact theory proponents believe, is that distinctly something around 11,800 years ago, and then maybe something also around 10,000 years ago. But that doesn't preclude or that doesn't dismiss the idea that there could have been 30,000 years, 40,000 years. There could have been multiple events.